First trick I'm going to teach you is an Arabian because that's the simplest one out of these three. So basically what an Arabian is, if you don't already know, it's basically a back 180 except you're going to spin a little bit earlier in a back 180. So instead of doing a backflip and doing a 180 while you're over your head, it'd be like you do a 180 and then you do a front flip is basically what it is. It looks like this. So the first thing you're going to want to know when you're doing this is not necessarily required, but I recommend doing a backflip before that. I do have a really bad backflip tutorial if you want to go and watch that, but instead I'm just going to like show you a quick way to do it right now. So the first thing you want to do is pivot. This is for a backflip. The first thing you want to do for a backflip is pivot and cartwheel. It doesn't really matter which way right now, but you're going to pivot and cartwheel. So once you get really comfortable with that, you're going to do less of a pivot on your feet and more of just kind of twisting your back and jumping. So you're going to twist your back and jump onto your hands. Really from there, the only difference between that and a back handspring is what you're doing with your arms. So instead of swinging him here, try to swing him straight up. So you're going to swing him straight up, then go to side. And it's still not quite a back handspring yet because you're looking to the side, which makes you go slightly off axis. Main things to focus on is to make sure that you're swinging your arms back and forward smoothly. So instead of going like this, throw them back and then up. And then look straight back. And the only other step from there really is just to tuck and it turns into a backflip. So that's not really necessary for an Arabian. What is a front flip. If you don't know how to do that, then just do it, because I don't have a tutorial on that. So you're going to have to do a front flip before. So I kind of teach an Arabian similar to how I teach a backflip. You're going to want to pivot, and instead of doing a cartwheel, you're going to pivot and just do a front roll. So that's basically the motion that you're going to be doing in an Arabian, except on the ground. The next thing, again, you're going to want to throw your arms straight up, because that's like the main thing to focus on in Arabian. You're going to throw them straight up, and then drop your shoulder, whichever way you're going to spin. Drop your shoulder, pivot, and then do the front roll. So throw your arms up, drop your shoulder, and then do a front roll. And like do that, speed it up, do it faster and faster until that gets more comfortable with you. So throw them up and kind of try to turn it into one jump. So you're going to go like this, throw them up, drop. And that is an Arabian, except you're not landing. So I don't even really have to tuck on my Arabians because of the way that I do it. That's why I'm teaching you this way. It's so incredibly powerful that you don't even really need to tuck. But it's kind of scary for people to tuck when they're learning flips, which is kind of the main reason I'm teaching you how to do this, is because that's the biggest thing, is when people, I know people that can like do the flips, but they can't land them because they're too scared to tuck and try to land, because that's like the scariest part of the flip for people who are just learning. So you're going to want to focus on throwing your arms up and jumping as high as you can. As long as you do that, you'll be perfectly fine. As long as you throw your arms up, you're making it over your head. So throw your arms up, drop your shoulder, and just thrust your head down and arms down. I tucked that time, but like you don't even really need to tuck. Even standing, just throw your arms up, drop your shoulder, and put your head down, and it'll turn into an Arabian automatically. Arabian. The next one I'm going to show you is a backflip 360, whatever you want to call it. It's basically an Arabian. Difference, obviously you're adding another 180 twist to it, but the way I'm going to teach them both is very, very similar. So basically the main difference is that in Arabian, throw your arms up, drop your shoulder, and then you'll look down and throw your arms down and it turns into an Arabian. In a full, you don't want to do the front flip. You want to keep the spin going. So you want to throw your arms up, drop your shoulder, and instead of thrusting your head down at this point, you're just going to keep looking to the side. You're going to put your head to the side. You go up, and then you look to the side. And really that's the main difference, but there's a little bit of progressions that you can do. Okay, so for an Arabian, seriously, for an Arabian, you throw your arms up, drop your shoulder, and you just thrust your head down. That's what turns it into a front flip in an Arabian, is looking down. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna do an Arabian, and you're gonna put your head down, throw your head down, and once you do that, look to the side. So it's gonna be like this, throw your arms up, drop your shoulder, and you're gonna be looking to the side and thrusting your head down. So it feels like an Arabian, but you're looking to the side at the same time, and it should look like this. And it'll basically automatically add another 90 or 180 degrees onto your Arabian. Once you get comfortable with that, really just bring your legs up and land it, but focus on doing less and less of thrusting your head down and less of an Arabian and turning it into a full. So you throw your arms up, drop your shoulder, and just keep your shoulder dropped and keep your head to the side. Don't even look down at all. And it turns into a full. Okay, so last one I'm going to show you. I was going to make this tutorial a while ago, but then I couldn't spin anymore. Long story, I lost my spins, and so now it still seems kind of weird to make a double full tutorial because I just now got my double fulls back. But just in case, if I can't do double fulls again in the future, I'm going to make this now. So what you're going to do, you have to have a full master. It's absolutely master. It has to be like subconscious to you right now. You don't even have to focus. You just think full and you do it automatically. What you're going to do is do a full, and this part's kind of self-explanatory. You're going to do a full and just try to add a little bit onto it. Just like, not in the flip necessarily, but after you do the 360, just kind of like twist a little bit more and add like 90 degrees or so. So it'll look like this. Or something like that. I recommend doing this jumping fairly low because it's less scary. For whatever reason, it's less scary, and because then it's kind of hard to explain. But if you jump higher, it's more likely for you to do back 1.5. But it's better to get used to 1 1/4 first. So you don't really need to have 1 1/4 mastered because it's not that important. But from there, all you need to do is do the full. And so how I taught the full was to look to the side, right? But probably at this point, you shouldn't be looking to the side. You should be dropping your shoulder and looking straight forward, so like this. So what you're going to do to turn this into 1.5 spins compared to 1 1/4 is you're going to do the full, and then at the end of the first spin, you're just going to look to the side. Throw your head to the side, and that is going to make all the difference right there. Do the full, and then look to the side. And it'll add a little bit of spin onto it. So this feels like you're landing in Arabian. It's not that scary. You're not doing multiple spins really. It's really hard to explain this if you haven't already done a double full. But you do fulls and you do back 360s and back 540s the same way. Like you do them as if they're fulls. You do a full and you do a 1.5 as if they're fulls. But double fulls, like you do them differently. They're not really the same thing. You do them much differently. What you're going to do is you're going to do the 1.5, and then after you're done with the 540 degrees, you're just going to keep looking to the side. You're going to try to add like you did with the full and a quarter, you're gonna just try to throw your hips, throw your arms, whatever you need to do to add an extra 90 degrees. So you're doing it as if it's a back 1.5, but you're adding a little bit to the end of it. So if you can't land that, doesn't really matter. But the main step, the next step you're gonna have to do is just make it one continuous spin. So what's happening right now is you're doing a full, and then you're kind of stopping, and then you're doing another little bit. So in a double full, you want to be one whole spin. You don't want to do 360 and then 360 again. It just needs to be 720. So how you do this, a lot of people will say to just try to do a full and a half and just look to the side the whole time. That doesn't work, because if you're focusing on doing a full and a half and looking to the side, all that's going to happen is you're going to do a full and a half. What you need to do is once you get to 540, so you're right here, at this point, this is when you'll look to the side. This is when you look to the side, because that's what's going to keep the spin going. But this is the scary part. You need to get really used to committing to doing like 2 3/4 spins and 2.5 spins before you can do the double full. But you want to hold your shoulder here, hold your arms here, and it's at this point, 540, that's when you look to the side, because that's how you add half spins on, is by doing the spin and then looking to the side. This is compared to just looking to the side the whole time. Hard to explain, but you know, if you're doing a full, if you're doing a 540 and you try to look to the side, people will teach you to just do a 540 and look to the side, and it'll turn into a double full, but it doesn't. If you're trying to do a 540 and you're looking to the side, like they'll say, just do a back 1.5 and look to the side, and it'll be a double full. But if you're doing a back 1.5, looking to the side, it's just going to be a 540. That's what it's going to be. You're not going to add a half a spin. How you add a half a spin is you do it by looking straight, and then you look to the side to add the next half spin. That's how I learned it, at least. So you're going to go up, make sure you throw your arms up to go completely vertical. It doesn't matter a ton, but that makes it more proper, I guess. Throw your arms up. And you don't even have to, like, the scary part is knowing that you're going to do a double full. You're like, right here, I'm going to do it. That's what's scary. That's the scary part about learning new flips, especially spins. So don't even think about it like that. Like, just think about doing 1.5. And if you happen to do a double full, then you do. That's how I did it the second time around. So you're going to go up, throw your arms up, do it as if you're doing 1.5 or 1 3/4, and then you're just going to look a little bit more to the side. And it's not even scary to do that. And then whenever it happens, it might happen and you'll just do a double full. It might happen, it'll feel unfamiliar to you, is what I'm trying to say. Like, it won't feel comfortable. You won't be like, oh yeah, that was a double full. Like, when I learned a full, it was basically just like I'm throwing my body, is what it felt like, if you're not used to the feeling yet. But you might do it. It might only be 1.5 spins. It might be 1 3/4. It might be a double full. You might over-rotate the flip, whatever. But getting used to the feeling is the most important. So what I would do is every time I go into a double full, I would do 1.5 first, and then 1 3/4, and then I would do a double full, until you can get really comfortable and just come out and do a double full. But for right now, you don't really know what it feels like to do a double full. So just get used to 1.5, used to the 1 3/4, and then you can add the extra spin onto it. So here's what it would look like. You could just come out here, do a backflip maybe, do a full, jump a little bit higher, do a 540, just look a tiny bit farther and do 1 3/4. And then whenever you feel comfortable, hold the spin and look to the side. Hold the spin and look to the side the whole time, and it'll feel really cool, because it is really cool. Throw your arms straight up. And there you have it. Double full. It's actually pretty easy once you get used to it. It's not super scary once you get used to it, but it's super cool. So hope this video helped. If you have any ideas of, I'm out of breath. of tutorials that I should post in the future, please comment, because I'm running out of ideas. Or not even tutorials, just videos. If you have any ideas for videos, just tell me, let me know. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for watching.